Have you tried box breathing to calm anxiety or stress and just felt as anxious afterwards? Or have you tried the trick where you notice five things in your immediate surroundings or list off one thing for each of your senses, but you still can't find calm and relief? Well, friend, this one's for you. Hello, and welcome to Torches, Yoga and Mindfulness. I'm Lauren, and I'll be your coach. Today, we are diving into the most unhinged hacks, what I call my rescue inhaler tricks, for those in the heat of the moments. Make sure you stick around for practice number 7. This one is a whole body, full powerhouse practice. So, when anxiety or stress takes over, the usual advice is to breathe deeply, ground yourself, or notice your senses. And sometimes those work beautifully, but other times the chaos in the body is too strong and you need something sharper, sillier, and even a little unhinged, because that's what your nervous system actually responds to. Today, I have 7 different practices so you can play around with them and see which ones work best for you. And of course, we are going to do this in the full Torches fashion. We're going to talk about what it is, the science behind why it works, and of course, how to practice it. While these tricks are their own separate practices, like any other mindful practice, it is best to practice them before we experience the heat of those moments. Maybe a couple times a week when you have a few minutes alone, practice them. If we practice them beforehand, our body will remember them when we need them most. Okay, and be warned, on at least one, if not several of these, you're going to shake your head. You're going to be like, Coach Lauren, these are way too goofy and ridiculous to even work. And yeah, some are pretty silly, but they do work. Sometimes when our body is in chaos, we need an unhinged response for it. And the fun part, these aren't just quirky tricks. Every time you use them, you're building new neural pathways that make calm easier to access in the future. Over time, you're literally wiring your brain for balance and equanimity. So let's get into it all. Miss Misty Mindful is with us here today to help us look at where the practices are going to impact our brain as well. So the amygdala is the part of our brain that kicks into chaos mode. We open her up here. It's this tiny little bit right here, just tucked right in there. This little thing is what drives us nuts. Yeah. So these hacks are quirky, but they're little detours that help route us out of the amygdala and back into balance. So first up, we have an ice cube trick. Maybe you've heard of this one before. It works because the sudden cold, our body having that quick temperature change, activates our dive reflex, which slows our heart rate through the vagus nerve. Get one out here. And the shock of the cold acts as a pattern interrupt for the amygdala's alarm loop. This trick pulls energy away from the amygdala and gives our brain something else to immediately focus on. It's really cold. So, with the practice, there is a little more to it than just holding ice in your hand. You can use a cold pack or really anything that's cold, but add curiosity. It seems so simple, but watch what happens in your body. Notice how even the small shift, distracting, gives your mind a pause. Notice any changes in the tension your body holds, the pattern of your breath. Notice your thoughts pause to make room for the sensation. That's why I was just finding it distracting. Try holding it in different places in your body, to your wrist, to the back of your neck, and compare how your body reacts to the sensations in the different areas. Each time you do this, your brain learns that it can step out of chaos instead of staying in it. All right, friend, practice number 2 is the alphabet backwards, but only use food names. If you don't know your alphabet backwards, do not worry. Most people don't. But that's kind of the point here. So when we become aware of an anxiety attack or overwhelm that it's setting in, start at Z and name food for each letter working backwards through the alphabet all the way to A. So like zucchini, yogurt. And I'll be honest, for X, I had to Google something because in my own practice, I would just say X food. But I found one, xylocarp. This is a xylocarp. But let's do a few more. We've got watermelon, venison, udon noodles, tacos, strawberries, raspberry, quesadilla, pico de gallo, potatoes. I might need to get some Mexican for dinner. We won't go through the whole alphabet now. You get the idea. This practice recruits our prefrontal cortex. Pull out Miss Misty Mindful here. So that's this front region here. This is the thinking and problem-solving part of our brains. In that moment of anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, our brain is essentially operating through the amygdala. And this switches its focus to look towards the PFC for directions. After you've practiced this, when you're not in a real-life moment, notice how your mind feels different after problem-solving something silly. Every playful interruption strengthens the brain's flexibility. That's our skill of being able to shift ourselves out of spirals. Now, if the backwards alphabet is too much, too difficult, that's okay. Especially if we're already, on edge. Asking your brain to do something that it may struggle with normally, it may make us more frustrated trying to answer what at the time may be a near impossible question. So I do have an alternative that's just as effective. Practice number 3, the banana alphabet. So this time we're going to go A to Z, but between each letter, banana. A banana, B banana, C banana, D banana, E banana, F banana, and so on. This is pure pattern disruption. The amygdala gets short-circuited when the brain expects one thing and gets another. So singing the alphabet like this, it's like if you hear rain on your roof and thunder rattling the windows, but then you step outside and it's a beautiful sunny day. Your brain scrambles to try and figure out why it didn't get what it expected. In this example, rain. Or you live in Florida and that's just another Tuesday. But also, if you can manage a laugh at how silly it must sound singing A banana, B banana, C banana, bonus points, because now you have a quick dopamine reset. Oh, and these don't only apply to stress and anxiety. Are you mad? No judgment, friend. But are you like full-fledged, heart racing, you need to walk away before you're looking at catching charges type of mad? This works for that too. This practice brings us out of the heat of the moment and out of the heat of the emotion so that we can reassess and respond with clarity. It's not that we're dismissing our feelings, but we don't have to feed energy into feelings that are detrimental to our well-being. Okay, speaking of that, this next one is a perfect exercise for that anger. I call this a wall push showdown. Find a wall and place your palms against it. Give me a second and I'll reset the camera. Okay, friend, so I've let y'all know before, I kind of got limited space I'm working with. So just bear with me for a minute. You'll get the gist of it. So we're going to place our hands on the wall and our feet about arm's length away. And we're going to push for 10 seconds like you're trying to knock down the wall. Palms strong and feet square, about hips width apart, wherever's comfortable for you. All right, let's try it together. On my count, we're going to take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, push, 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 push. 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. Keep going, keep pushing, push, 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 push. 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 10. Take a nice deep inhale, and on your exhale, release, relax, and let go. And also, I recommend repeating it 2 more times or really as often as you need. All right, let me get back to my regular seat now, and we'll talk more about how this works so well. Okay, when we're anxious or angry, adrenaline floods our system. If it doesn't get used, the body stays wired. A strong push gives us something to burn it off with. Let me grab Misty Mindful real quick. Okay, so this expression of physical energy re-engages this part of the brain here in the upper region. That's our motor cortex, helping the body to register it like I acted, I survived, and I'm safe. After everything is said and done, friend, take a moment to reflect and notice. Feel the release in your muscles. Over time, practices like this train the body to remember that anger and stress has an endpoint and that you'll survive to see it. All right, friend, practice number 5. For this one, we get to act like a kid for a moment. If you're an office or a desk worker like me, or maybe you're a gamer, you have what you need right at your desk. Okay, I've swapped out my regular meditation cushion for a stool that swivels. So that's what I'm talking about. You have it right at your desk if you need it. If you've got a spinny chair, you've got everything you need. So when you feel those heavy emotions, that overwhelm, that anxiety, that stress and anger coming on, give yourself a spin. Let the sensations take over. Notice the playful dizziness, or maybe you feel silly doing it and can't help but just smile a little at yourself. Spinning taps into our vestibular system. This is the process our body uses to find and maintain our balance. Resetting it by throwing it off with spinning in a chair helps to recalibrate the nervous system, and play is a proven way to interrupt our fear signals. Each time we play in the middle of stress, we're teaching our brains that chaos can turn to fun, and that is a powerful memory to build. Okay, for this next one, while I get back in my normal seat, if you have a lemon, go ahead and grab one, hit pause, and meet me back here. Okay. If you have a lemon, great. If not, you can just use your imagination because, oddly enough, it can be just as effective. And that's because our brain doesn't fully distinguish between imagined and real experiences. So simply picturing biting into a lemon can trigger saliva and a full body reaction. This is a great example of how imagination itself can be a powerful tool in regulating stress. And there's a little food for thought in that too, because while we can regulate stress with our imagination, that means we can induce it by dwelling in the spiral, like coming up with what if scenarios. So if you don't have a lemon on hand, because who just walks around with a lemon in their pocket, picture holding the lemon. Conjure up as much detail as you can from your memory: the temperature, the texture, the bright yellow color. Maybe your imaginary lemon came from a store and it has a little sticker on it. Or maybe you're in an orchard surrounded by trees and you pluck one from a branch. Now, using your imaginary knife or a real one, slice it open. See the juice misting. Is your mouth watering yet? Use your imagination to cut a wedge. Imagine the aroma drifting to your nose. Is your jaw tingling and twinging? Now, bite into your real or imaginary lemon. Biting into a lemon engages our sensory pathways that override the fear loop. When the lemon makes our mouth water, that's our nervous system proving how vivid imagery can affect our state of being. With practice, it got me. With practice, our brain learns this pathway home. Now, this won't be as effective as a practice to not do in the moment, but if we practice it when we experience little upsets in our day-to-day, we instill it as a practice to come into use when it's needed the most. All right, friend, as I promised for you, this last practice I have, number 7, I told you this was a full powerhouse practice. This is where we bring the whole body online. For this, you'll want some space and a wall or a sturdy surface, maybe even a tree, bringing in a little bit of Mother Nature's healing. So we're going to hold a strong posture like a plank or a wall sit, a squat, whatever you want to call it. So let me readjust my camera and be right back. Okay, back on the wall. Now, if you're going to be doing a plank, you want to stand at least arm's distance away, if not a little bit further, with your feet hips width apart and your palms placed directly straight out from your shoulders, keeping everything nice and square. Feel your feet planted, all 4 corners of the feet pressing into the ground. you're going to do a plank, you're going to lean in. Well, I'm going to bring my hands down. We're going to lean in and hold that wall plank. I prefer to do the squat, so that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to take a nice deep inhale, and we're going to squat and bring ourselves down to the wall. With the back pressing into the wall and legs at an angle, we're going to hold it for 5 minutes. Just kidding, just kidding. We're going to hold it however long. For the practice to work properly, it's going to depend on your body. So listen closely to it. As you lean into your plank or sit back in the wall in a squat, take a deep breath in. Stay strong, feet planted. If you're doing a plank, make sure you don't lock your knees. Notice your muscles activating, your body working, then wait for it. Yeah, those little trembles. That's the good part. That's what we're looking for. That is our nervous system literally shaking stress out. So that's what I mean when I say how long you'll hold it depends on your body. Let me sit down and we'll talk more about it. So, as I was saying, that tremble, that is our nervous system literally shaking stress out. So that's what I mean when I say how long you'll hold it depends on your body. If you're a runner, swimmer, or if this is just normal part of your exercise routine, it's going to take a little bit longer for those trembles to come on. Once they do come, you can release the hold, letting everything just melt. Maybe do it a second time if it feels right or needed. So when animals face stress in the wild, they fight, they flee, and then they shake. That trembling discharges leftover adrenaline and tells the body the danger has passed. Humans, well, we tend to suppress that, which is why anxiety can linger in our system. By inviting the shake, you're letting your body complete what it started. Let me grab Misty Mindful here. This practice engages the motor cortex that we talked about in the other exercise, plus the primitive circuits for survival response. And those are our instinctive, automatic responses that we get for threat detection and assessment. So this rewires them to end in calm instead of chaos. Notice the after feeling. Is there a little bit of heat where your muscles have been working? Relief, or maybe a deep breath that comes easier. That's your body remembering safety. Each time we practice this, we reinforce a neural pathway that says stress has an endpoint. It doesn't just get to run in our system forever. This one is a powerhouse practice because it combines body, mind, and nervous system all at once. You worked, you shook, you released, you reset. That's the full cycle, and your body remembers it for the next time. All right, my friend, we have covered 7 unhinged hacks today. The ice hold, alphabet foods, banana alphabet, lemon bite, spinning, wall push, and shake it out. They may look silly, but each one works because it interrupts the chaos loop and retrains the nervous system. And remember, these aren't just quick fixes. They're not tricks to play on your mind. Each practice builds new pathways in our brain that makes calm easier to return to the next time. Over time, calm becomes the path of least resistance. So the next time stress, anxiety, or anger hijack your system, give it something unhinged. Let your nervous system know it has options and that playfulness can be just as powerful as stillness. Now, I have a little bonus tidbit of info if you're a parent. Give your kid a powerful tool they can carry with them for life. When they get upset, instead of riding the spiral with them, have them wall sit, not as an act of punishment. Maybe offer it in the form of a challenge. Objectively acknowledge their state. I see you're upset. And then redirect. No explanation needed because number 1, you're the parent. And number 2, giving this kind of directive to go sit against the wall already triggers the motor cortex and the PFC into problem solving mode. How am I going to do that? Offer it in a neutral tone like, I see you're upset. I bet you can't sit against the wall for 30 seconds. It may not make the entire situation fade away. Small ones, it could. But it will give you 30 seconds to breathe through your own emotions and give them a safe outlet for theirs. So that way you can both come back to the problem with a little more clarity and compassion. If you found this information helpful, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of my mindful practices. And if you know someone who could use a little unhinged tactics to pull stress and anxiety out of the driver's seat, send this to them. In the meantime, friend, thank you so much for sharing a piece of your day with me. Stay present, stay kind to yourself, and I will see you soon. Boop.